Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Adro, and if you're a returning subscriber, I just want to say thank you for coming back and welcome back. As the title says, today we're going to be talking about I've arrived in Australia, so what next? What am I supposed to do? In this video, I'm going to be basically highlighting the first things you're supposed to do the first week you arrive in Australia. So what do I do? People ask, like, once I land in Australia, what's the next thing for me to do? But before I move on, have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Are you one of those people that are just watching this content, taking notes and benefiting from the content of this channel? See, I'm more than proud. Please subscribe while you're down there. Also hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I post a new video and you can be one of the first set of people to actually view the video. Also, if this content is helpful, please do not forget to click the like button so that other people interested in this type of content, see it too. Don't be selfish. Let other people, benefit from this content. So moving on, now that is out of the way. So as a new student, international student, visitor, you're here on a working visa, what next? You've arrived, you're at the airport. What next? What do I do? My first 1 week, what do I do? Do I just, start the airport and stand there all day? You can't obviously do that now. So I'm basically just going to be highlighting steps. So get out your notepads, get out your biros, your phones, jotter, I don't know, whatever you use to take notes, get it out. Your laptop, whatever, your notepad or your laptop, just get it out and start writing down. So firstly, I would always say that I will use my personal experience to kind of detail things that I did. I'm using my personal experience majorly because I might have made some mistakes or some things I wish I had done that might have helped my transition be better. And I'm taking that into consideration to kind of create, what next, to kind of help any other person that's trying to come so that they do the right thing. But considering the fact that, I kind of had a pretty easy transition because I knew someone and that person helped me. Okay, I didn't know somebody. I got hooked up with somebody. Is the right word hooked up? I'm not even sure if that's the right word. But I was linked up, hooked up, same thing, with someone that kind of made my transition easy from the airport to, where I finally stayed for my first 2 weeks actually. So right out of the airport, people always say, don't buy anything from the airport. Things are usually really expensive at the airport. You can always get it, somewhere else. Me, I'll tell you to actually get it at the airport because things like your SIM card to get a new network or to, a SIM card, get it at the airport. The guys at the airport actually help you find like the cheapest rate because you're new. So they give you, there's so many deals that you can actually get from those guys at the airport. They will set up everything for you, which they did for me. Also, if you are from a different country that you obviously uses a different socket circuit mouth, so the sockets here are pretty much different. So get like an adapter from the airport. It's usually cheap. It's actually very cheap and it's pretty much easy to find because they know that people will need it. So it's easy for you to actually just buy it at the airport, in regards to actually saying okay, I'm going to buy it somewhere else and not finding it. Because I got one from the airport and I didn't buy one from the airport. I bought, those charger heads that iPhone comes with, I just bought a different, adapter head. So I didn't actually buy, say, like a circuit for laptop or whatever. And the thing that actually happened was my laptop was already bad from Nigeria. So when I came, I basically came without the laptop. So in my mind, I'm like, I really don't need it. The only thing I probably need to kind of power is my phone and my power bank. So why not just buy an adapter head and use that? So that's what I did. I got an adapter head because I knew that I could use it for both my phone and my power bank, and that's all I actually needed at that point. Bear in mind. Also, what's your accommodation like? You've come into the country. My flight, I think I arrived by like 1 a.m. or 2, so it was past midnight. And if I did not have like a proposed accommodation, I don't know where I would have stayed. Of course, maybe I would have tried to book an hotel online or something, but like, sometimes you want to be in the country that you're in to kind of find some places, maybe affordable places. But if you're booking an hotel, you can book an hotel online, and from the airport you get a cab that takes you to your hotel. If you're an international student, most schools actually organize like a welcome package for students. So the person or a car, or how they write your name on the board, wait for you at the airport, they kind of help you transition from the airport to maybe school accommodation or wherever you're going to stay. But I don't want to say that's not reliable, majorly because like I had a friend that was supposed to have a welcome package, and then she got to the airport and the welcome package actually never happened. She got to the airport and didn't find anybody there. I'm not saying that that will happen to somebody else, because I'm pretty sure that was like already like an error, or maybe I don't know the details of the story, but all I know is that she got to the airport and did not find anybody there. Just imagine you're coming into the country for the first time. In your mind you have a plan, but like you don't have a plan. And her story, maybe I would actually get her on the channel to kind of talk about her story, because she was the one that actually helped me settle in. And her story was, I don't even know, I don't even want to go through it now because it's not my story to tell, but it was, it was pretty intense, and I'm so happy that, I didn't go through all that. So now we have gotten a SIM card, we have gotten an adapter, or a socket, universal socket for you to charge whatever electronics that you came with. Bear in mind that, they might be low on power or whatever, but you already have those two things. Now say you've gotten an hotel, if you're in a situation whereby you have the welcome package and you're on a budget and you can't actually afford that type of hotel. Of course there are motels, but then there are also backpackers lounge, which is reasonably affordable. They're really cheap for you to go to, but just like the name implies, it's a backpackers lounge. So it's not like you get a personal room to yourself. It's more like you're sharing a room with bunk beds with people. So have that in mind. A motel is the next thing that you have, which is, not of superb quality, but it's not as bad, because I've gone on some trips within Australia that maybe the tourist attraction that I was going to did not have hotels around the area, so we had to stay in a motel, and it wasn't really as bad as it sounds, but we did have to change the bed sheets though. But that's another story. Yes, so you have to now you found, say, a motel. You could ask the service desk at the airport. They would also let you know a list of hotels or motels or backpackers lounge around that area, so that you're not lost to some extent. Now I feel like the main thing is leaving the airport to wherever you're going to. So even if you have, in my case, I had somewhere that I was going to, and all I needed was to get an Uber and go to where I'm going to, and that's it. Do you get? But because I had the Uber app from Nigeria, and I'm not trying to, let me just leave it like that. I had the Uber app from Nigeria, and in Nigeria, I would rather pay cash to the Uber drivers than actually put my card on the profile, like my profile app. Let's just say that kind of backfired when I got here, because if I had known that they would be requesting for like a code in Nigeria, there was no code needed. Do you get? And that even like pretty much affected me, because I was trying to pull my card in, because apparently they were telling me that there was no option for cash unless I was taking another type of cab. And I wasn't really sure the type of cabs that he had there, and I just wanted to be able to see how much I was going to pay. I didn't want to go and enter say like a 13 cab, which is the name of a cab here, and the meter is reading. What if you now pass the points whereby my money has finished? Will I now calm down? No, of course not. Of course not. I wanted to know how much the ride was going to cost me, because I'm new in the States. I'm calculating my money. I'm on limited budgeted funds. I keep touching my hair, but it keeps coming to the front. So excuse me, but I'll make a conscious effort not to touch it, I think. But I struggled with that so much, but thank God for airport Wi-Fi. So I was basically, sending messages to. I first told my family, "Oh, I've landed. I'm in Australia now." I told everybody so that their minds can get relaxed. Because I think the last time I messaged them was at my connecting flights when I stopped over for my connecting flight, which was at Doha. So I was just like, "Oh, I'm in Aussie now. I'm in Australia. Telling everybody I'm in Australia already. I have landed. Feeling myself." But in my mind, I'm like, how am I supposed to get to where I'm going to? I'm going to put my phone on silent now. How am I supposed to get to where I'm going to? And like I said, luckily for me, I still had that friend. And what she did for me was, I think she booked the Uber, app. So I could tap with my card, but I couldn't tap with my card yet because I had my Nigerian card. But I inserted because they had a POS in the Uber, but I couldn't book the Uber because I couldn't just use my app to book the Uber. So I think that what she did was change the setting to kind of enable me so I'll be able to pay. Yes, I'll be able to pay with my card. I've forgotten what option that is, but that's what she did for me. And that's how I was eventually able to get a cab from the airport to where she was. And I think I was coming all the way to Parramatta from the Sydney airport. And that ride cost me about $80 just to come from there to Parramatta. And I'm just like, that's a lot of money to spend. And I noticed that he wasn't speeding. So I'm like, why are you not speeding? Forgetting that, of course, the speed limit. And I'm just like, oh God, this guy's just going to collect all my money now. That's all that was on my mind, because I was already calculating, how much did I bring here? How much you now want to take it? My small money, But that was the case. First thing I kind of noticed when I actually got to meet my friend I had not met before was that, I got there, she helped me with my, my boxes and everything. And the house was a shared accommodation, but they kind of all knew each other. But it wasn't a house. It was the house of another mutual friend that had a housemate that wasn't in the country at that point. But because I was new in the country and, she was still, the housemate was still paying rent at that time, the other person, the mutual friend, oh my God, it's so long. The mutual friend that was staying in that house was Nigerian, and he kind of asked her that, oh, can my friend actually stay in the house, in your room that she was paying rent for? And she basically said yes, she can stay there because she basically said yes because she wasn't in the country. She had gone to India to visit her parents. And I was super excited. I was very happy because it meant that I didn't have to pay rent, say, for the next couple of days, or at least the first 1 week, day or two, because she wasn't going to be back anytime soon. But it didn't also mean that I would have to, stay there till she would come back. You can't be living the free life everywhere, basically. But I was glad. I was happy. I just wanted to rest. Of course, jet lag, so I didn't get to sleep throughout the night. I just kept talking to my boyfriend, Dimeji, my dad, my sisters, basically talking to everybody. And I don't even know how to put it. I think the next morning, my friend, her name is Glory, she ended up coming with another friend, Lola. And Lola had a car, and they kind of came up to set me up, if I would use that English. So basically what they did was, okay, we have to get you comfortable. You need to get things that will make you comfortable. If you're going to be, the plan was I was going to get a shared apartment, my own house, but shared apartment basically. So you need cutlery, spoons, things like that. But I wasn't going to get it yet because I didn't have the house. So basically, they helped me get comfortable by getting jackets because it was a bit cold. At least I thought it was cold. So, I had to get something really warm. So I got, I got jackets. I got new toiletries because obviously I didn't travel with them. So I had to get them here. And then by the time I got back to the house, it was not back to important details, which I feel like you guys should listen to. So the first thing, after getting your accommodation, you need transportation to be able to get to wherever you're going to. Luckily for me, my friend actually, she had this OPO card. OPO card enables you to pay for, it's like an Oyster card in the UK. So you kind of pay for your bus fare, train, whatever, with your OPO card. You can get your OPO card from the gas station. You can also get your OPO card from the airport. I should have mentioned that. You can also get your OPO card from the airport and just put like $10 on it, $20 on it. While you're putting cash in your OPO, is like you're transferring money. It's pretty easy. You could use your Nigerian card or whatever country card you came with, actually, put money on your OPO card. So she had to. If you're an international student, as part of your welcome package to the school, I don't know if all schools do it, but my school was doing it. They would give you, say, like an OPO card. You go to Student Central, you get an OPO card. The school puts about like $200 or $300 on it to enable you, move around basically. But I found out pretty much late because I missed my orientation and I didn't know that it was available. And, I didn't know they were going to put money on it. I actually thought they would just give you the OPO card until, I heard that a lot of people got OPO cards that had about $250 on it and $300 on it by the school. That it was, every student gets it. And because my friend had given me one already, I just didn't see the need to. And yeah, so one thing you need for transportation is your OPO card. Doesn't also mean that it wouldn't take your, when you get on the bus, you can't use your credit card, but like the OPO card is just better because you can plan your routes on your OPO card and kind of estimate how much your total trip to, say, I don't know, from here to the mall will cost, or from here to another suburb, how much that will cost you. So you get the OPO card, you download the OPO app, and then you can put your route. You can put it from your house to work. So your main your main location can be your house, and then you can calculate your house and how many buses you might have to enter, or if there's a train available for the location you're going to. You can calculate distance with the OPO app. It actually makes your life super easy because you can basically watch yourself move and know how many stops. You can watch your stops, so how many stops needed till your next bus stop, so that you don't pass your next bus stop. So yeah, you can get the OPO app at the train station. You can get it at the airport service desk. They would, they obviously let you know where you can get the OPO card from. OPO card has you can, on the app, you can also, instead of going to a stand to actually put money into your OPO card, the app actually gives you the option of, using your card, like you're paying for something online. So you can actually do that with your OPO card. Another thing is your TFN. So it's your tax number. I would say that like maybe your second day, maybe your first day you're resting, but from your second day, you should actually start with your TFN. So your TFN is your tax number. If you're going to apply for a job, if you get the job, you're going to need to put your TFN number with your application, unless you're not going to get paid. So the TFN basically takes what? It takes about 3 to 5 working days. Accommodation is pretty much important because they're going to mail it to you. So you need an address to put on, the application so that you can get it sent to you. So you need at least a place, maybe you're at a place where you're staying in your first 1 week or your first 2 weeks. You can use that address. I used the house I was staying, which was my friend's house, for the first 2 weeks. I used that address and I got it in like 3 to 5 days. So while trying to start your TFN, you will note that there are 2 different links. One is going to ask you to pay $100, but you're not supposed to because your TFN is free. So while trying to find the right link, I think I'm going to attach the link to the description below. It's free. Don't be bad. Don't let yourself be cheated or scammed, It's free. The next thing also is accommodation. I'm saying accommodation because there's so many things that will be linked to your address. So because a lot of things are sent through the mail service, like your credit card, also your debit card. So another thing also to mention is your opening an account. So open an account. If you're a student, you're going to need to show your passport, your visa, student ID. So here is where this whole thing is connected. If you're a student, go to school, go and register immediately so that you can get your ID. You get your ID in less than an hour. It's just, if there are not a lot of people there, just wait your turn, take your picture, check if your name is correct, and it's printed out. You get your student's information. What you can also do is when you're going to open your bank account, take your actual passport there, because we know that the Australian visa is, I would say, it's like an e-visa. Yeah, if that is the right word for it. So you get it sent to your email. Your visa gets sent to your email. You print it out. That printout is what you basically take to anywhere that requires your visa. Honestly, even while you're traveling, you print out your visa and then you take it, and that's how they do it. It's not stamped on your passport or anything. So when you're going to open your bank account, you would actually need to take the hard copy printed out visa, and then take your passport photo, like your international passport. You would also need your student ID card to prove that you're a student, and then your account is open for you. But then you also need to put your address, because it's also going to be mailed to you. So you can't come to the bank and pick up your ATM card. It will be sent to your address, which is why it's important to actually get accommodation. If you get student accommodation, fine. If you decide that you want to share accommodation, websites such as Flatmates, Gumtree, Facebook Markets, that you could also find accommodations there. Although Facebook Market, I would say, it's pretty tricky, because Facebook Market, you can meet good people with sense, and you can meet people that are local. I don't want to say local, because I've had an experience whereby I got a house, which is this house, and I was trying to lease out the second room in my house, and I ended up leasing it out to somebody that I don't want to say he said it was not correct, but he looked sane, and I was just like, oh, level-headed guy. I went to work one day, left my doors don't have any lock from the outside. Like, you can't actually lock the door, so technically you're just basing you're leaving your properties open to thieves and whatever. But I left the house. I went to work after work, because I saw him in the house that day, and he was just like, oh, see you when you come back from work. And I'm like, oh, see you. Then I left, and then I came back, and he had stolen my second phone that I left in the house, and left the house in such a bad shape. Although the only thing you can do is say collect identification, like ID, driver's license, or any means of identification, basically. And that just didn't even seem like legit. I just think the phone was already bad, so I just said, it's not a problem. I flipped, I turned to a different person when I was on the phone with him, calling him a thief and the rest, but I let it go, because he couldn't do anything with the phone. The phone was actually, proper bad, so I just freed it. But then the next time, I ensured that I had like a whole proper paperwork system for, the next flatmate I was going to get. So that's another. I digress a lot. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I digress. But okay, now we're talking about accommodation. So you get the accommodation, you put your details, So accommodation is important, because even if school is going to ask for accommodation, you're getting a new bank account and getting a credit to debit card requires your accommodation details. Also, TFN requires your accommodation details, and apply for a job also requires your accommodation details. So now we're talking about what accessibility, transportation, communication. For so transportation, the OPO card; communication, getting a SIM card that also requires your accommodation. You've gone to go and register in school, you've gotten your TFN that makes you can get your money. So the next thing is applying for a job. I would say start applying for a job immediately, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. The whole process is not some people find it easy. Honestly, I've not met people that it was pretty much easy for them, but like everybody has the same story of applying for a job. The only good thing here is once you apply for a job and you actually get it, other jobs come by like easily. Like, I don't know, I've had the experience, my friends have had the experience that after they got their first job, it was pretty much easy to actually get the other jobs, all the other jobs actually followed. The key to that is manipulating your CV. I'm not saying manipulating is like, go and write lies, but if you are still carrying the same CV, like the way you present your CV, say in Nigeria, for instance, now, with where you worked, state and country like that. If you still want to keep your experience in, it's best that you kind of take out the country. So take out Nigeria, for instance, and just like the company name. Although when you're called for an interview, sometimes they ask you, oh, where was this company? Sometimes they don't. Depends on who is, you know, interviewing you, or what company is interviewing you, or what type of role it is. Most times they do not ask you, but you know, if they ask you, if they ask you, you basically, you know, say where it was, and then you might actually now get the point whereby they're asking you that, oh, so you do not have any Australian experience. Honest, when they ask me, do you have Australian experience? I just say yes. When I started, although now, now I have the Australian experience, but when I first started, I said no. Oh, I said no. Oh no, I don't have any Australian experience. But I realized that the more I said no, the more I was putting in applications. And then, you know, I got the memo, and then I started saying yes, and I was getting more interviews instead of my application just phasing out on the first, you know, oh no, I don't have any Australian experience. But with time, you actually get better at knowing how to handle your CV for the Australian labour markets, basically. Basically, that's how you can actually get a job. I think anywhere, because they require to have an Australian experience, but you're new in the country. Of course, you don't have an Australian experience, but that doesn't mean you cannot do the job, or that doesn't mean that, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to work if you're qualified for it. Another story for another day. But, you know, that's how to actually apply well, because don't be like me. I was, you know, carrying my CV, or what I thought I had manipulated, to a large extent, still living over my Nigerian experience there and applying for jobs, and I wasn't even getting the light of day. And even when I would get interviewed, you know, I wasn't passing the first stage because, you know, no Australian experience, and that affected me. So I applied to over, like, you know, 80 to 100 I actually applied to about 80 to 100 places. I got refusals. Trust me, I have the email, you know, backlog to actually prove that that's, you know, that's the truth. So before I digress, I'm just going to go back and talk about, you know, getting an OPO card, getting a SIM card, getting your sockets, getting your TFN, registering at your school, getting an accommodation, which is important, getting your credit card, and also applying for jobs and how to apply for jobs. Doing your first 1 to 2 weeks, these are the things that you actually need to do to kind of ease yourself into the community a bit faster. These are things, or the ground, your foundation, because you need somewhere to sleep. You need to be accessible to your family members that are, you know, outside Australia or within Australia. Try to make networks already before you get here, so that those people can actually help you. They might not come to your house every day, but they will just give you tips that would help you generally to settle down. If you do not have, you know, any link or any connection, you can just send me a mail. You know, I could just give you a few tips on what to do personally when you come to Australia. For now, I think that's everything that you actually need for the first 1 to 2 weeks of when you actually just moved to Australia. So thank you for staying to the end of this video. If you found this video helpful, please do not forget to like this video so that other people trying to move to Australia can also view it. Thank you, and before you go, do not forget to click on the subscribe button, and also while you're there, click on the notification button so you can get notified when I post a new video. Thank you for staying to the end. Bye. See you in my next one.